That's got to be the best intro of any LinkedIn Live that starts at 7:55 and ends at 8:10. There can't be a better one.
There's not a better one, and that's why we have the #1 live streaming show on LinkedIn at 7:55.
Let's go. I get so excited, and now you get to participate right here with us. It's the average dude, Daniel Allison, Freddie at Bobcat, and we've got one goal. Freddie, tell them what it is.
To get your mind right so you can dominate your day.
Dominate your day. So we started out, this was a sales show. Sales guys are generally high energy. We got to get ready to go make calls. But guess what? It's good for everybody to get your mind right, to be positive, to be intentional, and to do a lot of the things that mindset does for us. So regardless of your occupation, you're in the right place. Thank you for joining us. And we have a great guest. So we've got local people that are fantastic. We've got people in our F3 group, Fitness, Faith, Fellowship. Freddie, show them what F3 does to your arm.
Boy,
got all swole up.
We'll check out Jesse's in a minute.
Yeah. We'll get Jesse to show his. We'll scale the situation, and but then so we get people from LinkedIn. We meet new people, so it organically grows. It's been a lot of fun. Today, Jesse White is our guest, and I want you to meet him right now.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah. It was the silent opener. We did the golf clap. Jesse, I've been waiting to ask you to come on. Of course, we see you a couple of times every week. The greatest cadence caller, I would say, in the upstate of South Carolina, wouldn't you, Freddie?
Probably in the history of F3 Nation.
F3, we know we got a lot of F3 people out there, Jesse. But do you want to own that crown of being the best cadence caller in the upstate area?
Man, I'm not the best at anything, but
come on now.
You're the best at being humble, apparently.
Yeah, it's something I'm working on, Freddie.
Yeah.
I think it's a big problem for me, and my wife reminds me of that every day.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, you've got a sales team that you manage, right? And you're in the IT world. How important is it for you, for your folks to get their mind right, to have the right mindset? Is that a big deal, or is that just kind of talk?
No, I think it's critical. I think that salespeople in general, or people that are, delivering some sort of solution to any customer, they face a lot of rejection, and with that, they literally have to not take those things personal and say things like, the next one will say yes, right? And so I think what's exceptionally hard for sellers is when they have existing customers that reject their solution, right? People that they have built trust with and people that they've been doing business with for a long, long time. I think that's exceptionally hard compared to, a random net new kind of logo that you're trying to onboard. So big difference.
That's an excellent point. Freddie, have you ever had somebody that's bought equipment from you in the past? Things were great, and then they show up and you see a different type of equipment on the truck.
Oh yeah, and I see this one particular customer going up and down the road, and over time he had multiple pieces of Bobcat equipment, and at the time I think he had 2, and now I see him and a couple trucks, 4 or 5 pieces going up the road that's not mine, and it makes me sick.
Jesse, what do you tell your folks when they get that kind of rejection? You're right. It does hurt. How do we get over that? What's happening? What happened to that customer? Freddie's a great guy. He's a great salesperson. Why did he lose that one?
Well, I think there's one fundamental reason that happens. And it's something that I think a lot of salespeople do. And I'll use an analogy that may fit more for Freddie than for you, Daniel. But a lot of times we try to sell our customers lawnmowers when all they really want is their grass cut. And I think over and over, we oftentimes try to peddle the shiny product, the next best thing, the thumb on the bucket of the new E90, whatever it is. Really, the customer is just looking for that outcome. And that's the real only reason that they're engaging you. And I think a lot of times we overcomplicate things. We don't listen. We try to run our agenda. And I think that's a big reason why that happens, Daniel.
Yeah, we slide into for me, sometimes you slide into transactional instead of relationship selling, right? It's all about that deal. Say what you have to get the deal. And if you want them to buy from you again, and not saying that Freddie did it, sometimes that happens. They start feeling that, and then they get that relation. They've played golf. Maybe he went and played golf with the guy that has the salesman for the other company or something like that, right? That's when they slide in. Jesse, this is when we do this right here.
Quote of the day, quote of the day.
Incredible production quality here at First Sip. The quote of the day, words of wisdom. Jesse, do you have something to share with us this morning?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of things, but I think one thing that I think about a lot, and this is more of a personal, not business related thing, is this quote.
Yep.
Is your ladder leaning against the right wall?
Is your ladder against the right wall?
Yes.
Freddie, do you want to take a stab at what that means to you, or do you want me to go? And then we're going to let Jesse give his thoughts on it.
I want to hear you, Freon.
Is your ladder against the right wall? Sometimes we're chasing the wrong thing, and as you get older, you realize time management is important, but even more critical is energy management. And so if I'm chasing the wrong thing, if it's not really going to bring me fulfillment, if I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses or trying to do it because I think that other people will be happy that I did it, or trying to just chasing the wrong thing. That's what, for me, my ladder making sure that my ladder is against the right wall. If I've got my ladder on the right wall and I'm trying to work on an HVAC unit over here, well, then I wasted all that time. That's what it means, Jesse.
Yeah, I think that, that's a good understanding of the concept. I think there's a couple things I'd add to that. Number one, the view from the top when you think you make it is going to be much different than you anticipated. So that's kind of number one, meaning, I see these people strive, reach, grasp for almost thin air. They get to the top of whatever that thing is, and they hate their life. And you think of investment bankers or the guys that contemplate suicide, yet have millions and millions of dollars. And really, what is their purpose? Then I think the other big challenge with moving your ladder, Daniel, is you've got to come down to realign it, right? And I think sometimes as men, as leaders, as people, as salespersons, it's really hard to eat that humble pie and reset, right? Go back to the bottom, move your ladder to a wall where you will actually find purpose, and then start that ascent all over again. And for some of us that are approaching our 50s, like you, that's a hard right? How do you restart when you've lived 65% of your life statistically? And so I think that fear keeps people in quadrants that they don't necessarily want to play in. That's a big problem in life. And I just see it all the time. I see this miserable existence for so many folks in their professional career. And it's really because they don't understand what it is that motivates them, and I think that's a big part of it.
Freddie, do you think we can reinvent ourselves even at 48, 47 years old? Can you reinvent yourself, or we have to keep our ladder on this wall that's been on for 30 years?
Come down, reset, move your ladder, and make sure you're in the right vehicle.
Yeah, it's imperative. It's imperative. Okay, so now we do this right here.
Get ready. It's time for the 2-minute skill.
This is not an easy thing to do. So I've got to tell folks very quickly what's happened, Freddie. So 2-minute skill, 2 minutes to share a message. Sometimes you get to talking, it's easy to go over. Sometimes it's hard to say just enough to say, get over a minute. What is the 2-minute skill, Freddie?
Oh, this will be Jesse's opportunity to teach, preach, coach, or joke just as long as he delivers the goods in 2 minutes or less.
Let's go.
2 minutes.
Jesse,
I'm ready. Starting now. I think the biggest skill that people miss in life is really mirroring. Mirroring is an opportunity to really hear, acknowledge, and get people to open up more. So many times when people ask questions, they give the respondent gives such an immediate answer. They don't even stop and take time to understand really the oblique reference to the question or what it is that they're doing. And I think mirroring in any conversation helps you get to the bottom of whatever situation that you're trying to. And I think you can use this in business, but more importantly in life. It's almost saying or screaming something like this, tell me more, right? When you stop and mirror somebody's question. And I think if you're not doing that in your personal relationships, in your business relationships, in any interaction, you're missing out on literally the true essence of somebody's question or inquiry. And it's a big problem. That's my skill. I know that was only 1 minute, but I think brevity is all too overlooked.
Hey, I'm telling you, but you hit a good one. Freddie, say what you're saying.
Do you model that for the salespeople you lead, and how do you encourage them to listen?
For the salespeople I lead?
Yep.
So that's an example of mirroring. And again, it's qualifying, it's understanding, and it's gaining clarity in the question. I encourage everybody on my team to have the 2 ear, 1 mouth kind of syndrome, right? And what that means is you guys have heard, right? The customers have all the answers. They really do. You just have to have the right questions. And one of my favorite books, in fact, I have it right here, and I'd highly commend it to your reading. It's called The Book of Beautiful Questions. And it is a fascinating book. Again, not just business related, but also, personal that can really help you grow. And I think that my favorite quote in the book, it's on page 15. It says this: people are always united in questions. It's the answers that divide them. And I think that's a really powerful way to look at any situation. I think about the election coming up, right? We all have the same questions. How we answer it completely different, and gaining an appreciation for that in whatever reason you have to do it, personal, again, professional. It's a really, really important skill.
This skill is so important. Russ, good morning. We do have some folks that watch us live here, Jesse.
Okay.
That skill is so important that listening, all you could do, you didn't know a thing. All you could do is ask questions and listen real good. And Jesse sent you in to talk to IT managers. You'd be all right, I believe. Wouldn't they, Jesse? I mean, yeah. And what is listening well? It's simply taking notes. Freddie always pulls out that pen. What else is it, Freddie? Is it nodding the head? Is it
acknowledgement that you are listening and you're paying attention?
Yeah,
that is so important, y'all. Honestly, so often, if you don't look like you're paying, people get excited when they see you paying attention.
They do, and I think too often we focus on our products and not the pain that our customers have. And I think, again, if we reframe that conversation to those pains and then switch your product with the painkiller that you offer that situation, and understanding you may not be a fit for everybody, I think is really important too. But the point is just leave the product conversation, in the rear. There'll be a time for that later. Focus on your customer's pain, mirror, ask more questions, ask relevant questions, find out what questions it is that can improve that conversation. Again, personal, professional. I think it'll make a big outcome in your life.
I love it.
J-Dub.
I want to do a couple of things here. I want to say what we talked about, guys. If you get rejected, if you've been rejected, we've all been rejected. Get your mind on the next one.
It's not
Play for the
personal.
next one. Let it go. Do not take it personal. We also talked about the ladder being on the wrong wall. Make sure you're chasing the right customer, the right relationship, the right hobby. Do not have your ladder on the wrong wall. It's not too late to turn around and reinvent yourself. And finally, these things. Yeah, I'm going to go get my hair cut later and you'll see them better tomorrow. But you got to listen. You got to listen well. Thank you so much, Jesse, for joining us. I've got a business call. See you guys. Have a great day.
Peace.
Let's roll.